Next on the card here, we got the debut of one of the best Cage Warriors champions in a long time, in Christian Leroy Duncan. He's going to be taking on UFC veteran Dusko Todorovic. And for Christian Leroy Duncan, it's a long way to debut for him. I mean, he had an epic career in Cage Warriors, arguably the best middleweight fighter in Cage Warriors history. He had 7 fights as a pro, all of them in Cage Warriors, 6 finishes. And not only finishes, man, but highlight reel finishes. His last 2 fights were title fights. He finished one with a flying knee, the other with a spinning elbow. He has a spinning back kick knockout. And as an amateur, he went 17-6, so he's much more experienced than his 7-0 record indicates. And Dusko Todorovic, he's been up and down. He is essentially a fighter the UFC uses now to test their prospects, and he has won 2 of 3. He did defeat Jordan Wright in October of last year. And overall, he's 3-3 in the UFC, and seems like whenever he takes a step up in competition, he loses. So far, the 3 fighters that Todorovic has beaten are no longer in the UFC, and the 3 fighters he lost to are around the top 15 to 25. So it's a little bit hard to gauge truly where he is, because he's either fighting a bottom-of-the-barrel fighter or a fighter that's pretty solid. And this is going to be an interesting one, because Christian Leroy Duncan, it's hard to really know where he is in the division. He's very athletic, Christian Leroy Duncan. On the feet, he moves really well, switches stances, does a wide arsenal attack. His hands aren't that great, Duncan's, but his foot speed and his kicks are impressive. And Duncan has good feints, fakes. He throws a lot of front kicks, round kicks. His upper body movement is good. He could pull counter with some hooks and crosses. And his ability to move back out of range is pretty impressive. Kind of reminds me of Cyril Gane with that. And when he goes southpaw, he likes to throw a lot of lead leg side attacks and lead leg side kicks and a lot of spin kicks. And on the inside, he has some nice elbows. I've seen him land several spinning elbows, and I haven't really seen Duncan in there, though, with a great striker, a pressure boxer yet, and I think that could give him issues. He has these explosions, though, where he can close the distance and touch your chin and put you out. He's dynamic, dangerous, and his wrestling is where he needs to prove the most. Duncan's takedown defense is questionable. He doesn't accept bottom position, and he's good at creating scramble and getting back up to his feet. He was able to defeat Will Curry, who's a very strong wrestler and grappler. And Duncan, when he can reverse and get on top, which he's pretty good at, he has good top control. His ground and pound is vicious, and cardio-wise, he comes in good shape. So he's someone that's tough to grind out. Dusko Todorovic, he's a well-rounded fighter. Recently, he's tried to be more grappling-centric, which I believe he's going to have to do in this fight. But he's also athletic, Todorovic. He likes to pressure more on the feet and primarily use the hands. Fast hands, good job of jabbing or double jabbing his way into the pocket for the right hand. He's at his best when he can get in the pocket and let go with those hooks. He has nice knees on the inside, and I envision in this fight, his game plan is going to be to pressure, try to use the jab to back up Duncan, and then take him down against the cage. At range, he has some decent kicks, and he can switch stances, but his defense is pretty leaky. He pulls back with his chin in the air, and I think he could possibly be clipped by a flashy attack if he just stays on the outside. For Todorovic, if you can get Duncan against the cage, he is pretty effective with holding guys in the clinch, and he has okay wrestling against the cage. He did get taken down his last fight against Jordan Wright, which is a little bit alarming, but grappling-wise, he probably has the edge. I think Duncan can probably defend a lot of the takedowns, though. If Todorovic does get on top, that's his best chance to win. He has a decent submission game, but I would just worry about trying to control and grind Duncan out. Cardio-wise, Todorovic, he can push a high pace, and his last fight he gassed out Jordan Wright and then finished him, but I think that Dusko has a chance to win this fight just because Duncan has suspect wrestling and kind of below average hands. But, I just think Duncan, if he fights with full capabilities, he's too skillful, he's too smart, and when Duncan gets on top, he's going to stay on top. He's not going to make mistakes that Todorovic does to lose position. On the feet, I think Duncan is the better striker. He's bigger, longer, faster, more athletic. As far as a bet goes, I have to pass. I just don't trust Todorovic at all, but Duncan is also improving. He's a decent favorite, and I just don't think he's worth the risk. So, as an official pick, I'm going to pick Christian Leroy Duncan by second round TKO, but I think Todorovic is probably going to let him slip an elbow in there that knocks him out or hurts him and then allows Duncan to follow up and finish the fight. But it's a fight I would just watch, pass, and then kind of monitor where I think Duncan is after this fight. So for me, it's Duncan, but this is one of these fights that I'm not super confident on.